Today's Youth Dialogue session, The Future We Want, the Voice of Caribbean Youth Entrepreneurs in the Summit of the Americas process, looks to identify and obtain recommendations from the CIC finalists in order to add to the summit process leading into the 7th Summit of the Americas to take place in 2015. Today, young people from the region will take the opportunity to participate in a dialogue with the audience, CIC finalists, and other stakeholders. This discussion will include receiving specific recommendations from those present and also opening a call for action to address the main themes of the next Summit of the Americas. Therefore, we invite the youth and you, the finalists, to participate in this session, to give us your thoughts. I'll invite Valerie Lorena to just give us some overview of the Summits of the Americas process and how you, the young people, can participate.
Thank you, Brett. Good morning. How are we doing? Good. Okay, this is the time for you to speak. The microphone is going to be open for the young people. We're going to be raising very important questions. Why we open this space for you? Because you asked for it. You told us one time we need to tell our policymakers, our governments, what we young people want for the future. And we're going to be posing some very important questions for you. In the meantime that you start thinking about these questions, Alex is going to give you a little bit of background on these participation processes for young people and where this report is going. So basically, young entrepreneurs, think what were the main challenges for you to come here? What challenge you faced in order to be at the finals? And the people who help you along the way. We would like to share to, Carda, give me 1 second. First, Alex is going to give them a little bit of background introduction and where the report is going. From the side of the Young Americas Business Trust, we will take it to the dialogue of young people with the heads of delegation at the summit at the OAS General Assembly in Guatemala in June this year. And this is a process for the participation of young people at the Summit of the Americas as well. The Summit of the Americas being the meeting of presidents and ministers, heads of state, that is hosted by the OAS every 3 years. And we young people have a space there, and we young people talk to our governments there. The next Summit of the Americas will be in Panama in 2015, and you are already contributing to this process. Alex?
Thank you, Valerie. I am the Youth in Web Portal Manager for the Youth in Web project, and in my capacity, I see youth, the statistics of youth, even the pages that they're reading on the website, what they're looking for. And unemployment and business is something that young people are searching for in Google. This is a little background. On March 21, 2013, the United Nations presented the first findings from an unprecedented global conversation through which people from all over the world will have been invited to help member states shape the future development agenda. The snapshot report of initial findings, entitled The Global Conversation Begins, was delivered to more than 100 representatives of member states who will negotiate the future development agenda. They say, we are reinventing the way decisions will be made at the global level. People want to have a say in determining what kind of world they are going to live in, and we are providing the opportunity by using digital media as well as donor-to-door interviews. You keep hearing voice of youth, voices, but are the voices that are being said really being heard? I want to tell you that the best time for youth to speak is right now. Why? Because the United Nations has officially designated 2014 as the International Year of Small Island Development States. That's us. And next year in Samoa, they will be hosting the 3rd International Conference on Small Island Developing States, where they will be addressing the special needs and vulnerabilities of SIDS. Are youth vulnerable? Yes. Do we have special needs? Yes, we need to let them know what we want to see in our future. If we as youth, the future generation, the leaders of tomorrow, want to impact our future, we have to speak out, especially on topics of entrepreneurship and youth unemployment. There is no doubt with the growing number of youth, 60% and growing of the Caribbean, that with limited employment opportunities, it possesses an enormous challenge. We have to say what we want to say, and with your ideas, you're already beginning to speak. Now, you have a connection with many different people, and we would like you to go back home and tell your young people, your peers, that we want to hear what you have to say. Here are some avenues. World We Want 2015 survey. That is www.worldwewant2015.org. You can join different groups on different areas that you are passionate about and share. And then this My World survey. There are some sheets outside. UNESCO and UNICEF, they're inviting smaller developing states, and they're having, from the 26th of June to the 1st of July in Kingston, a symposium for young people to share. And we want you to apply to go there and share your opinions. I don't want to say much more, but the last thing, the CIC, we are going to develop a report of what youth have to say where it comes to employment and entrepreneurship. You would have received in your email a report looking similar to this, and we want you to fill it out. And throughout the rest of the weeks, we're going to be in discussion online about what the youth want to see, and we're going to get this information to the different symposiums leading up to SIDS 2014 and the future in 2015 and beyond. So that's just a background with why we want to hear from you, not only now, but when you return home. So we open the floor to your thoughts, your ideas, and be free to speak.
We're taking notes.
Good morning. My name is Shanika, and I am from Bookline, a business here in Barbados. And one of the challenges that we have is that our support system and financial agencies are unable to think outside the box. They did not see the nature of our business as one that was feasible and profitable. And I think that's something that our support systems and our agencies should look to have individuals who do not stick within a set system or bureaucracy, that they should be able to think, because I am young and I'm not going to think 20 years before my 20 years pass. I'm going to think 20 years ahead because I'm young. So I want our agencies and persons within those agencies to be able to think outside the box. And yes, we should have a drive and a passion to pitch our businesses, but they should be able to see that this world is changing and we are changing, and we should also think outside of the box. Thank you.
Thank you.
Who else? Remember the two questions we posed? What were the main challenges you had to come in here, and who helped you along the way?
Hello, good morning. My name is Joel Nicholas, and I represented Grace Farm Schools. Based on the question that you just raised, how I was able to reach the Barbados. Actually, there's someone by the name of Kimberly Gay. She is in the Ministry of Food Production where I work, and she developed the Agricultural Development Program. It's kind of like it's not necessarily an incubator. I would call it a barbecue pit. They literally throw you in the fire and try and solve a problem. And the kind of constructive criticism could be taken as a destabilizer to your business or a new window of opportunity. So I would say that the biggest challenge was convincing people that my idea and my colleagues' idea was feasible and could have a social impact. that will not only have it in the short term, but in the long term. And the other question was,
Who helped you along
well,
the way?
I would have to say Kimberly Gay and my parents and my most capable girlfriend. She's a visionary, so dedicating this one to her.
As you share your ideas, we would like to see why do you think that was challenging? Why they didn't trust in your idea? And how we can convert that into a solution for you guys in the future to ease the path of the young entrepreneurs.
Yes, I'm Califia Constantine, also part of Grace Farm School. To expand on what Julian was saying in terms of the problems getting this far, because our idea is different and it's very new to the Caribbean, it's not new to the world. Outdoor education is our idea for anybody who doesn't know. People were looking at it as it's too far out there for us to do. What we have, they think it works now, which being in the educational world, I don't think it works. I don't think our educational system is working. I think it is allowing a lot of us to fail when we get out of school. Because throughout school, we're very good. We do very well. We're getting our passes at CXC, A level, whatnot. But then we get into the workplace, if we can, and we don't know what to do. And aside from that, a lot of us can't get into the workplace because you need experience to work. So nobody will give you experience, you'll never be able to get a job. Another thing, in terms of one of our biggest problems, is financing. Even though I have a job, and we may have the collateral necessary, my job is not permanent, it's a contract job. So based on that, financial institutions are saying, well, there's a very good chance if your contract is not renewed, you're not going to be able to pay the loans. So for us to get the 5 acres that we have for our business, it had to be done through our parents. So that is a big problem because I know a lot of young people don't have parents that have the ability to do that. A lot of them don't have the support. So I think there needs to be some intermediary body that is assisting with getting the funding necessary, particularly for those who need a lot of funding.
You see the format that she followed? She explained us the situation and then proposed a solution. We would like to see that in the upcoming ones. Who else wants to?
Okay, I'm Tamara Prosper again. Firstly, as I think it's probably synonymous to a lot of us, financing. Although the business do have finance, a student finishing up now, but in terms of getting the presentation and what I envisioned for the business, how I wanted to, I had to raise funds on my own to get here. And I think a challenge for us too is that our governments and our other private sector, they wait on somebody else to endorse their business. For example, like this institution here, these collaborating institutions, before they find credit in your business, more or less. You know, I think because it's the fact that we are young, so they look for a more established organization to endorse us, and then they find the faith in us. So that was the challenge in getting here. Who helped me? The Ministry of Youth helped me to a lesser extent, and as I told you, I raised funds to get that vision that I wanted for my business represented here. And a suggestion, I'm thinking for financing, right, when it comes to businesses, and to encourage us to prosper and be successful. I think installments of funding, so let's say we have to get a grant should be given in installments so that it encourages us to do better, to get to the next phase so that we get more money to make our business more profitable. You know, so, and I think also an organization where it's specific to youth funding or entrepreneurial funding, like a bank, for example. I know the process of getting that may be long, and we may not be the beneficiaries in the immediate, but I think it's a good idea to encourage youth entrepreneurship, because we have the ideas, but to fund it is another story. Thank you.
Thank you. There was a hand raised over here.
Hi, good morning, everybody. My name is Shanika Burnett, and I am the founder of Shakad Designerwear, a fashion design company which celebrates the culture of the Caribbean. The challenge getting here for me is that I don't find that there is enough appreciation for the cultural and the creative industries. And I'm speaking specifically to Barbados. I'm not sure how it is in the other countries in the region, but I don't think that it is seen as a very important industry, and it is my belief that the cultural industries are what makes the Caribbean different, and that is what we can use to take us to the world. My suggestion is that it be enforced more at the school level to create alternatives for students when they come out of school. So as somebody stated earlier, you don't only have the option of being a doctor, lawyer, bank manager per se, but you can also do something creative, which would be innovative and is not seen elsewhere in the world, something that you can go far with and that you will be recognized for because it's different. Who helped me? My mother. She has been my rock through everything, and there are also some agencies here that do lend support to youth, especially in the technical aspect. Yes has been very helpful for me in terms of getting some of my promotional material, the BYBT in terms of some mentorship. The National Cultural Foundation, they helped me with some of my props. So there are agencies that are willing to help, but on a national level, I don't think that enough emphasis is placed on culture and creativity. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Samor, and I'm the founder of Red Donor. The main challenge getting here was, well, for having such an innovative idea that hasn't been done yet, was figuring out how to actually do it. The answer for it was collaboration. Throughout the past year, I've been able to meet and network with other web and app developers. And as an entire group in Barbados at this moment, we were able to come up with ideas and help each other how to create these solutions. Other aspects of help came from mentors, mostly people I've worked with, and of course friends and family. But the most important thing I think is that to solve these solutions that we don't have any network or path laid out for is collaboration between different entities. Thank you.
Thank you.
So we have seen along the way the young entrepreneurs are telling us first they reach out to their family, then to local institutions. If others are going to participate, mention this in the same lines. What else besides those contributions we can see in the future?
Good morning, Kajana Henry of St. Kitts Business Connections. Two problems that me and my team experienced coming to Barbados was finance and ensuring that the community and businesses don't see us as young people, not just young people, but young businessmen and women. How we overcome this was sponsorship from the Ministry of Youth Empowerment, several businesses in our community, and our board of mentors. We also made sure that we carry ourselves in a proper manner, making sure that we're all well uniformed and we speak well.
Thank you very much. We also want to ask your ideas for what you would like to see. For a while, you've been hearing about CSME, free movement. What would you like to see being developed in that area, in areas like equal opportunities for culture, females, males, even persons with disabilities? What would you like to see from your perspective as youth?
My name is Omar Celestin, and I'm the founder of Regional Connections. One of the difficulties which I face is pretty much myself, as when it comes to motivation and completing my project. And a lot of my support came from my mother, financially, emotionally, and whatnot. And I would also like to thank the CIC because I realized it helped me to kind of focus a little more on what I wanted to do. Because it was a very broad idea and it's slowly coming down to size. So that's pretty much what it was. And what I would recommend also is have I know the resources are there, but have detailed resources. When it came for me to try to develop the idea, because it's technology based, there was nobody really for me to go to. I just had to rely on international statistics and go look for that. And there was nobody to help me, I just say, understand it a little better when it comes to presentation. So if you would, let's just say, if you would have a board of individuals who would willing to offer a little time in their busy schedule to just lend any particular assistance in any particular area of business, it would really be appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, good morning. My name is Kellyanne Alicott. I'm the founder of Ibis Bath and Body. I will start with saying that my problem that I had with coming here is financially based. I funded the software that I needed for my booth on my own, but I was assisted, I'm always assisted by Barbados Youth Business Trust, both on the technical side and mentorship as well. My question to you guys is, what are you going to be doing to improve the linkages between the region to help young businesses and probably even established businesses realize the potential that we have? Because there's a problem going on where you may have a great idea, you may want to link with other people, whether it be home or locally, regionally, whatever, to get, for instance, I manufacture bath and body products, so I require raw materials. From other areas in the region, there should be some website, some type of forum for you to post your information of what you do and how you can help others as well. Because there is missing, I enjoyed talking to every contestant that was here, because in every aspect, I see some way in where we can work together. Even Grace Farms, where I pitched the idea where we can interact with the children, we can do some soaps and make it fun. In each entrepreneur that I see here, there's potential in all aspects. They might not be linked directly, there may be indirect links, but how are we going to forge that so that we have an industry that we can, I guess, become a power to reckon with in the world today? Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. I can answer that question from our end, the UNDP, the Youth In Project, Youth Innovation. That is exactly what we're about, trying to provide linkages. You suggested a website. I want you to take this down, youth-in.com. All of you right now have a page on youthin.com. All of you have a page on the CIC website. This is one avenue that we would like to push in the entire Caribbean region. We want to have profiles of the youth. We want to have profiles of organizations that can assist youth. We want to also, we're going to be posting videos of your experiences there. That is where the youth are online. And we are bringing together the website, Facebook, social media, etc., to try to provide those linkages so you can find it online where young people are. There's another phase that we would try to reach as well in providing direct linkages, because everyone is on Facebook. People like to be together. So we can also look to, on the Youth In website, allow more interaction for entrepreneurs, for arts and culture, for volunteers. This is what the Youth In is all about, bringing these different organizations together so that when young people go looking for it, you can find it. So if you want people to find you, Youth In is one aspect as well. And there are other websites out there that you can submit your information to get yourselves heard, to get persons know what you're doing.
From our side, every time we start a venture of designing a program, an opportunity, anything for the development of young entrepreneurs, we held this kind of consultations. So you're already telling us what to do next. We're planning the designing for the second edition. We expect it to be improved and bigger, and you're already telling us what you would like to see there. And we are going to continue these conversations with the stakeholders, with young people in particular. We encourage you to follow up with those, with this this is a format. You don't have to follow it per se, but it will help you to guide your thoughts and contributions. Those contributions help us to design the next programs to support young entrepreneurs. Mr. Tallyman wanted the microphone, then Dave.
Hi, good day. I'm Michael Paris, aka Mr. Tallyman. And with respect to CSME, CARICOM and the region, a message to our leaders is this. With respect to equal opportunity and level playing field, it's easier right now for someone in Miami to come to, say, Trinidad or Jamaica and link and build connections than it is for someone from Trinidad to go to our regional brothers and sisters to do the same. And that is, a huge, huge problem. I mean, the pricing is prohibitive. The frequency of the connections in terms of the flight, it's irregular and, not enough. Freight transport is almost non-existent between some islands. And this is a major, major issue. So if that is developed, we would have a blossoming of regional and real regional integration, real connections, real sharing of ideas and feelings and experiences. Yes, it could happen online, and that is very, very valuable. I mean, we had a lot of conversations online with some of the other companies. Through the UNDP and YABT, they built a lot of capacity with us through the web portals and the webinars. Excellent. But in terms of having a physical connection, it's extremely difficult for that to happen. And I think with improving that, it would, as I said, really blossom the connections. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Dale Trotman. I'm the CEO of MedRegis. From listening to the participants, a lot of them have financial issues. And in my opinion, the financial institutions don't understand the importance of entrepreneurship, especially when it comes to youth and the betterment of the country. I think there should be some sort of educational program set up for these institutions to understand why entrepreneurship is needed and how it could better improve citizens of a country. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. Ambassador Bill has requested the microphone in the front. Just to give a quick response to some of the contributions, I think would be interesting.
Thanks, Valerie. I just wanted to, because I've heard a few people saying similar questions about, I guess, financing and also the lady there regarding culture. I would tell you this, as a person who has made many loans for a time, if someone had come in to see me for a loan for filming or for music or some cultural thing 15 years ago, I probably would have just dismissed it immediately. But I think today, culture and those things are, I think, a great opportunity, and to me, almost represent less risk than some manufacturing or some agricultural thing. So I think times have changed in that area. Maybe not everyone recognizes that, but I do think that the time is moving certainly in that direction. Well, I mean, who would have financed Rihanna, 15 years ago? But I also want to say a few things about financing in itself. In the United States, you can't get anything unless you have a credit rating. And so it's important from a young age, get small credits. I mean, if it's a small credit card or whatever, so that someone can look at experience. Because, experience is about the only thing in life that money can't buy. I say that in fun, but think about it. But the thing about experience in getting jobs too, people say, well, you're very good and whatnot, but you don't have experience. But if you don't get a job at some point in time, you'll never have experience. So, I mean, you have a little bit of luck is involved there, but regarding the actual financing, if you can get a little experience in terms of a little credit rating, that would help. But remember something, a commercial bank is not really attuned to, it's not their business, basically, to get involved in new ventures and something that has no track record, because that's the first thing you want to do. You want to borrow money? Okay, we want to know your name, and so check all these things, and then I want to see, well, have you had borrowed money before? You know, how old is the company? What's the profit of the company? But if you don't have any of this thing, you're talking a new venture. And basically, commercial banks are not the place to get that startup. Basically, it's equity. It's startup capital. You got to go more to, and the governments, I think, try to help in that area. It's more developmental area. It's more of venture capital area and whatnot. So the time you go to commercial banks, unless you have some sort of, you have to show them numbers and whatnot, even though I can tell you that a piece of paper takes any number, you know. But you do have to go through the process of showing, well, these are what I think my sales could be, or here's my cost and justification for it, all these things. If you don't have that, you're just wasting time. But I'm saying even if you have a fairly well documented presentation and backed up by some reasonable studies or whatever, these things help. But ultimately, the guy is going to say, well, your project right now is just something in the air, you know. And so for that, some of them, if they do want to buy into your project, will say, well, okay, you know, I can't go on any record, but I do believe that you seem to have a good idea and you seem to be, you know, basically an honest person. Because remember, no matter what they tell you, credit is man's confidence in man. Believe you me. So what you have there is with the bank is hopefully you can produce enough to him, but ultimately he's going to probably want, because he doesn't have this information on you historically speaking and experience, some form of security. And that's where I imagine another problem arises, because if you're doing a startup, what sort of security can you offer? So when you walk into that kind of situation, you will need an uncle, a brother, a father, or a friend, or whatever, to back it, or you're going to have some form of physical security, you know, and even that will depend on the loan, etc., if it's a mortgage or if it's a car or whatever, you know. Mm-hmm. But unless you have that, it's difficult. So it's not an easy path. That's what I'm trying to tell you. But the ways of trying to get around it would be through some government developmental institution who is more oriented to take more of a risk or a better understanding. And really and truly, what most of us are talking about for startups is really venture capital. Thank you.
Thank you very much. At the back. Just going to have a few more questions, comments from our youth.
Good morning. I am Joshua Clark, the creative director of Red Donor. And one of the problems that I see, and maybe one of the solutions as well, is that we have a significant lack of communication, despite the fact that we have the ability to communicate. So, I mean, we have many small island nations, and, you know, also South America as well. We have a language barrier there that need not be there. We generally, all of us, probably took Spanish or French at some point in time in our secondary education. But if we, through, you know, the communication platforms that exist, i.e. Facebook, you know, etc., could create some sort of inter-island communication that would allow us to communicate with native speakers of that language. Because what I find, where I find the best ideas come from is just sitting down and having a conversation. So therefore, if we foster, you know, connections between the islands, then that is where the idea of community will come from. Because it's all well and good to talk about it now that we are in our late teens and 20s and whatnot. But I mean, that getting the youth early, you know, 13, 14, and so when they're developing their sense of self and their sense of community, if you can introduce to them the idea that we are all together in this, then that way we have, I guess the thing I find is that, with numbers, you get a greater diversity of ideas. And while Caribbean islands individually might not be large, together we are quite significant. So if we can increase the communication at that level, I think from there you will find a lot more, ideas. So whereas, if you're in Barbados and you have an idea, you may not find anyone in Barbados that has that same idea. But what if you found someone in Belize, someone in Guatemala, someone in Cuba? What if you together could create, a situation? I mean, obviously, as Mr. Taliban said, there is a need for ability to travel between the islands. But I think that, really generating ideas, because as we are small island states, we don't have a lot of manufacturing capacity. Our real marketing, our power is our ideas. And ideas, are worth their weight in gold. We have to be able to communicate with people of like mind. And that, I think, is one of the biggest things that we could do as, a region to grow the sector.
And added to that, thank you very much. It wouldn't only impact us in the region, but it will impact us in Latin America, in Brazil, who is booming right now. Global region. Thank you. Right.
My name is Dave Copps. I actually came from Dallas, Texas today to support Camaro. But I'm very inspired by this group. It's interesting for me to stand here almost from the outside looking in and see that there's a real moment happening right now. I hope everyone can see it, especially these young entrepreneurs, that you are the ones that are kind of creating you're the sand and the oyster. You're creating that disturbance or that disruption that now the world has to react to you. So you hear all the talk about financing. I've financed 3 businesses now. Not once have I gone to a bank or an institution. I've done it all through angel investing friends, and now I'm doing a $10 million investment I'm closing this week, but never once with a bank. There's great things happening around the world that these young entrepreneurs can take part in. I think the websites like Kickstarter and Indiegogo and all these crowdsourced funding sites that are happening right now are perfect for what you're doing. There's also ways to have goods go across the world through sites like Etsy and that put handmade goods around the world, and there's resources and distribution that can happen. And there are things that you can do to attach into to make that happen. I would encourage even the region to start thinking about possibly how they could form a crowdsourced funding. All the businesses in the region should be just thrilled by these entrepreneurs and the fact that they're wanting to stand up and put their life out there to build a business and create jobs. They represent the future of the region, and they deserve the attention of CARICOM to potentially have a place where they could come and get funding with their idea, just like people are doing today on, again, Kickstarter, Indiegogo, places like that. It's a new era. These people are the ones that are disrupting it and creating that opportunity. I'm thrilled to be here today and feel very privileged to witness this moment.
Thank you very much. I'm going to give one more person to give the final.
Jermaine Paul from LCP Industries. I just have a simple question. After we give all these suggestions and ideas, then what? Because at the end of the day, you give it to them, what happens after that? Because I could talk for Antigua. We have a society where we call them bandwagoners. After you make it, then everybody decides to jump on the bandwagon. That's my question.
Good way to end. And that's exactly how we started. We want to take your ideas. We can't just leave it right here. It's been happening for too long. We have someone writing down your ideas. It's being recorded right now. You're going to fill this out, share your ideas, and we are going to submit it to My World, My SIDS. We're going to also submit it to...
As I explained a little bit before, we have participation channels. We send them to our constituencies. At the OAS, we have a space for young people. The young people are representative from you, speak at the dialogue with the heads of delegation, and also that's political side.
Mhm.
In the planning and programming side, we have these dialogues with you in order to have better and more improved programs. So this doesn't stop here. This is just the beginning. So we're going to continue talking to you, but the question is more, where would you like to see it reflected? So don't answer me right now, but we can continue the conversation. And as I was explaining, this small space, it was 45 minutes for us to talk, it came out from one concern that was raised by one of you.
Mhm.
So you can see the progress going.
So we are doing some work in furthering what you're saying and getting it out there to all the different levels, all right? And if you see us slacking off, make sure you, the youth, speak out, keep talking to us, all right? We're going to continue this conversation via social media, via the internet, and encourage all, not only the young persons, to give their input as well. Thank you very much.
All right, moving right along. Just a few quick announcements. We'll now break for lunch. Immediately after lunch, which will end at 1 p.m. At 1 p.m. sharp, we need everyone back here. We'll continue with the elevator pitches. From there, we'll have one more round table, and then we move further along to what I'm sure all of you are waiting for, the closing ceremony and announcement of the winners. One-on-one coaching sessions are available. If you'd like to speak with someone to get some further advice, further coaching, the Paradise Valley Water Park table is open, and I believe, yes, she's back there. Her name is Anna. Annie. She's available and free to meet with you if you want to get some further advice, further preparation. So 1 p.m. sharp, please be back in the room. Lunch is available in the same room as yesterday, in the same area as yesterday. All right, so we'll see you all back here at 1. If you need to rehearse your elevator pitch, get it down. Use some time at lunch. We'll give you 1 minute. Each of you will be up on the stage to tell us what your idea is about, deliver the pitch and the opportunity that you see. All right?
Thank you.
Good afternoon. Welcome back. Welcome to the elevator pitch presentations.